Hello, this is Joshua Martinuke, and I am here today for my vehicle scavenger hunt inside my 2007 Ford Focus. Let's begin. Yes, this car is insanely old. It is over a decade. It surprisingly still works. But it's broken down a couple of times. It's not the safest car, I'll tell you that right now. Alright, so first up, let us find the turn signal. Okay, right there is our turn signal. As you can see, that's the left turn signal, and that's the right turn signal. And that's to turn it off. So it's right by the steering wheel. The importance of the turning signals is to let the drivers that are ahead of you or behind you know where you're turning, because if you don't let them know where you're turning, they don't know where you're gonna go. So it'd be horrible because that can cause an accident. So you always want to let them know when you're turning. You never, so like when you're like in lanes and like when you're switching lanes, I've seen so many drivers doing it, and this infuriates the hell out of me. But they go like, oh, I don't need to show my turn signal. I'll just swerve around lanes and do whatever. And then they get pulled over by the cops. So yeah, always show your turn signal. It's a law. And yeah, that's the importance. And the purpose of it is just to show the nearby driver where you're turning. So if you're turning left, or you're turning right. Okay, next up on the list are high beams. Now, I don't want to turn my high beams on because that will waste my really old car, but let me show you where it is, alright? We'll go back in the inside in a little bit. Okay, so the high beams on my car are right here. Currently, I can't show it to you because it's snowing. This is not the perfect weather for high beams, but right over there is the high beams of both of my cars. Basically, this is to tell the importance and purpose of high beams are to basically warn the driver. So like say the driver is like on their phone or calling and like an animal or like a person is there. It's to flash, or a driver is there. It's to flash them a really huge stream of light that they cannot miss, and let them know, oh, I am on a road. Oh, I gotta follow the rules. Oh, I have to drive. So, yeah, that's exactly what the high beams are for. That's the importance and purpose of them. And you don't just want to use them anywhere you go. You don't want to use it in fog, because that will cause your car to, like, how do I say this? Like, this will cause your car to, and annoy car to like not see very well, and to drive, and it doesn't work with fog. Same with snow. It doesn't really work with snow, especially when it's snowing this hard. Alright, next on the list is parking lights. Alright, so parking lights. Looks like we gotta go outside again. My parking lights are right over here. Yep, right over there is the parking lights to the car. I think I just need them down. Yeah, right there. Right there is the high beams. Right over there is the parking lights to my car. So yeah, I think there's some in the back too. I'm gonna see if I can find them. That's weatherman. Yeah, because right there is the turn signal lights. Okay. Yeah, so right up front, you got your parking lights. Now these are basically to tell you, show if you're about to park. So say you're about to park the car and the driver or passenger doesn't know, hey, your car is parking, and so that, yeah, so your car is parking, those lights are there to tell the other driver, hey, you need to move out of the way because you're parking. You don't want to run the drive. You don't want to hit the nearby car or the nearby passenger. So it flashes at them with not as high beam lights, but a medium amount of light to show that they're parking, and that either the passenger needs to get out of the way, the driver needs to get out of the way, and they should always let the first car that parks. never, ever take someone's parking spot. Like, absolutely, I mean, unless you have a chance to take it and you have enough time, then go for it. But never, ever cut in front of a car that's parking. That is dangerous. You can get into an accident and you can get seriously hurt. So yeah, that's the importance and purpose of parking lights. All right, next up are low beams. Looks like we gotta go outside again. Fun. All right. So low beams are like the teeny tiny lights. They're very small. So like these are like the parking lights. I would say like right there is like the low beams. It's kind of hard to see with all this ice because winter. Let's face it, it's horrible, and it's only gonna get worse. -40 wind chill. Let's go. So yeah, the right there is like the low beams. Basically, those are like the normal lights that most people use. Not that many people use high beams. They use low beams. Like if it gets dark, like really dark, you can use high beams. That's also really important to use high beams if it's like insanely dark and you can't see drivers or passengers. But low beams are like for like if it's like foggy. So like the visibility is hard. Like once it fogs up, you barely can see a mile. The low beams will shoot right through the fog and you can see. And so you can see passengers, you can see drivers, and you can see animals or anything else that walks across the road. So yeah, that's the purpose and importance of low beams. Right, next up, emergency hazard lights. We don't have to go outside for this one. I'm freezing in here. All right, so right here, this red button is the emergency hazard lights. So this is basically for drivers that are slow, that don't want to go that fast on a highway. Which, I don't know why you're taking a highway if you're going to go insanely slow. But, hey, you drive how you drive. So yeah, that's how, and it'll flash these two lights, which should flash outside my car. Yep, right over there. Right there, you can see it flashes right outside my car. And that light flashes. These are all the emergency lights. That's to basically show a driver that you're driving slow, that they should be cautious of you, like you're very elderly and you don't want to, and you can't physically drive fast. So that's the purpose of them, to show other drivers that you're a little bit slower than other drivers. You're not a teenage driver. You're like an elderly driver, or just a driver who likes to drive slow, which there is no problem with that. You just have to show that you're driving slow. That's all. And with this, yeah, they'll show you drive slow. And it's also useful, so like if like your turn signal breaks, like you can easily just use these as a turn signal. Pretty cool, huh? All right, next on the list, seatbelt light. Now, I know it's hard to see from here, but seatbelt on. All right. It's hard to see from here, but right over there is the seatbelt light. Now, the importance of that is just to show other drivers that you're wearing a seatbelt. That's basically the purpose of that, to show other drivers and passengers in the car, buckle up your seatbelts before we drive, because it's illegal in the state of Illinois to drive without a seatbelt. So always drive without a seatbelt, kids. Don't be risky drivers, risking your life, because if you get in a collision, God forbid, and like you don't have a seatbelt, you're flying straight out that window, straight into the road, and another car is gonna hit you. But if you wear a seatbelt, you're just gonna hit the front of the wheel, airbags will come out, or you'll hit the back of the chairs, airbags will come out, and they'll save you. All right. So next up on the list, windshield wiper controls. Oh, my favorite. So these right over here is the windshield wiper controls. Now, you can go from insanely fast to medium to slow to stop. Yeah. Basically, they're there so you can control how to use your windshield during the weather so you can see the car. Like if it's snowing right now, I would use the really fast one to get all the snow out of my car. If it's like drizzling or like just sprinkling, I would just use that. And if it's not snowing at all, it's sunshiny and perfect, I would just use that. But yeah, that's best for rain, snow, hail, sleet, freeze, rain and snow. It's good for bad weather, and it's useful because you can see, and let's face it, drivers need to see. Next up is the gas pedal. Gas pedal is right over there, and the brake is right under it. So the gas pedal is there to the purpose and importance of it is to how do I say this? It's to basically start the car. You can't drive the car if you don't put on the gas. So yeah, it's basically there to start the car. You can go like really fast, like that, or depends on how hard you push it. You can go insanely fast, you can go a little slow, like that. Depends on how hard you push it. But you never want to step on the gas, because if you step on the gas, you're going to be flying high, crashing probably into a tree or a pole. And let's face it, you don't want to do that. So just be careful out there. That's the importance of the gas pedal, just to monitor your speed. Don't slam on the brakes. Don't press it insanely hard. Just go slow. And the brake is right over here. So the brake right here, let's basically stop the car. If a car passes you, or a car is about to stop in front of you, or there's a red light, or there's a pedestrian in front of you, or an animal, that's what the brakes are for. That's the purpose and importance of the brakes, to basically stop the entire car. Next up, emergency brake and release. Yes, this car is so old that it has an emergency brake release. So right over here is the emergency brake and release. So you just pull up, press this, pull up, and the car will immediately stop. This is important, and it has a very significant purpose. If your brakes break, then this will save your life. This is used to immediately stop the car, or to at least slow it down, like really well. But basically, if your brakes breaks when you're on a freeway and you're like, oh I am screwed, or on a street and you're like, oh I'm gonna crash, pull this and you won't crash. Or you might crash, but it won't be as bad as if your brakes are broken. Alright, next up, check engine light. Alright, check engine light is right, if I can see it, right around here. That's to basically easy purpose and importance of that. It's just to tell you if your engine's like broken or something, and if you need to go to a mechanic and go and check it. Not really that. It's really helpful because you always want to make sure your car is always in tip-top shape. Because when I first got this car, funny story, literally everything in this car broke. So we had to fix everything, and it was costly, but hey, I guess it was worth it. But honestly, next time you get a car, make sure you get everything fixed before you drive it, because things break, because cars get old. Next up, the check oil prompt. Now, it is right up somewhere around these two areas. I would say around here. It's kind of hard to see because it's not blinking, but it blinks and it tells you if you need to check your oil or go to a mechanic and check your oil. That's the importance of the check oil light, to check your oil, because you want to make sure your car has oil so that it won't rust, because cars rust and you don't want that for your car. Next up is the gas gauge. Gas gauge is right over there, and the gas arrow is right there. So right now I have 75% of gas. My gas cap is right in the right. So this is important because it lets you know how much gas you have in your car. So right here it's empty. F stands for full, and that's the halfway point. And that shows you where you can get gas at a gas pump. So you always want to make sure you have either a full tank of gas or at least half a tank of gas or maybe a little bit more than half a tank of gas when you're driving. You always want to make sure you have a lot of gas, because let's face it, you get stuck in the freeway and you have no gas, God help you, because you need to pull over like insanely fast. So my solution to this is always carry an extra gallon of gas in the back of your car, or go and check gas stations regularly and fill up your car, because that's very important, and a car needs gas to run. So yeah, that's the importance of the gas gauge, and the gas arrows importance and purpose is just to tell you where it's at. So it's on the right. It's pretty self-explanatory. Okay, next the tachometer. Now the tachometer is right. I don't think I have a tachometer. Let me see. Yeah, I do. I think it's right in the middle, because I know the other one's the speedometer. So this is like the tachometer, the odometer, all in one. So yeah, that's just to tell you how many kilometers per hour you're driving if you're not driving in a country that is a metric, or a state that is a metric, because this state is metric, but there's countries that aren't metric and they have different driving rules. So that's there just to make sure that, oh shoot, that's there just to make sure that your speed, it's basically a speed, to control your speed. And always watch out for speed limits, because right here we are in a 20 mile per hour speed limit, but some other people have like 10, 40, 50, 60 miles per hour speed limits. So you always want to make sure you can watch out for that. So yeah, that's the importance of the odometer, tachometer, and odometer all in 1 meter. Really cool. Most cars don't have this. Most cars, they have like 3 meters, but mine only has 1. It's pretty cool. Okay, next up is the front defrost. Yes, we have a front defrost. Right over here is the front defrost. It is right up here, right by the AC. Basically, the purpose of this front defrost is to tell you, is when it's winter, which right now, it is winter. It's to show you it's to clear the way for you. Because like the car windows, condensation is when liquid and a gas come together. They fog up your entire window, and the front defrosts or unfogs up the car and makes your driving clear and makes the driver able to see. So yeah, that's useful. And yes, we do have a rear defrost. Our defrost is pretty interesting. So right here we have one that's right to the passenger. This is defrost and AC, right to the passenger. This one is to the passenger and to the back. This one is just to the back. This one's front defrost to the passenger and to the back of the passenger. And right there is rear defrost, which is all the way back there. Basically, same purpose as the front defrost, except it defrosts. It makes your back of the car clear, so you'll be able to see it. This car is pretty cool, if you ask me. All right, and fine. So yeah, that's the purpose of the front and the back defrost. Basically, to clear up your car, make sure you can see all of that. All right, well, we're almost done right here. So let's go to mirror controls. So right here, we have the mirror controls. We have your standard lock. We have 2 ways to lock your car. This way, by pressing that, or this way to lock your car. These roll up. These roll up and down. Mirrors. And this is basically to stop rolling your mirror up and down your mirrors. So basically the locks are there for, like, say like there's a burglar and they try to rob your car. You always want to leave your car locked. Do not be my mother and leave your car unlocked. That is very unsafe. So yeah, that's there to make sure your car's safe, secure, all your items don't get stolen, and everything in between. And basically, everything's in your car, everything stays in your car doesn't get robbed, no one takes your key and drive your car, which your car may get frozen. It happens in the winter, but you can easily prevent that. Just do it in better ways than my mom than leaving the car unlocked, because that is very dangerous and could cause you to lose your car, someone to steal it. And these are basically in the summer. If it gets like insanely hot, you want to roll the windows down and make it cool and everything like that. So yeah, you just roll the windows down, everything is great, you feel cool breeze as you walk in, and it's just fantastic. And you just feel amazing and great, and it's fantastic. So yeah, and that's basically, if you don't want to roll down the windows, just don't roll down the windows if it's like winter right now, which it is. So yeah, that's a trip in my car. This is a 2000 Ford Focus, and I think it's pretty cool. I think it's a really nice car, and I can't wait to finally drive. I've been waiting freaking years for this. But yeah, other cool stuff in my car. We have a radio in my car. We have these awesome mirrors in my car. You have this mirror right up here. There's a lot of cool stuff in my car. Well, this isn't my car, this is my mom's car. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff in my mom's car. And I can't wait to drive, because let's face it, I've been waiting forever to drive. I am like a first-time driver, so I'm like so nervous to drive, because I have no idea how I'm going to deal with the stress of driving, because it's not a privilege, it's a responsibility. But yeah, so yeah, we're gonna head outside. That's everything in front of my mom's car. I hope you love watching this, and have a great day. Bye!